All right, we are live, 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 live. So, welcome to the crazy day of energies. I know it's been building up for quite some time. It's been getting
Ah,
stronger and stronger, stronger. And um, last night, I thought my feet were going to burn right off, as well as my hands. My head was just tingling and just felt like spinning at the same time. The boys actually had to make sure I made it up the stairs okay, but it was like a blissful. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. It was just like, wow. Um, I've had the oh my God, I'm gonna die once before, and I'm sure there'll be more. Uh, then tonight, of course, is the solar eclipse down in Indonesia and Australia. So we'll feel that anyway. Um, but yeah, it's intense and how to take care of ourselves during this. I had the boys last night, of course, get me some water and bring me up some sea salt to put on my tongue, so I could bring that water and that um, electric from the salt into my cells to help move the energy that was vibrating in. and And I know that, there was moments where I had my feet inside the blankets because I was cold. Then the next minute I'm burning hot. And I'm like, well, I know this isn't menopause. So um, it was different. It wasn't that. I remember watching my mom and my mother-in-law go through it, and I was like, well, this is totally different because you could just feel it, you know. Wow. What did you experience
oh
yesterday
yeah, my
or
feet were
today?
on fire last night. My feet were totally on fire last night,
Yeah.
and that happens a lot when energy gets high. So I just kind of ignored it. But I know I was very restless last night. I didn't sleep very good at all, and that's another thing when the energy's high.
Yeah.
And then today I was like, I have to. I was off, so I had to get out of the house and go find a tree today.
Yes.
Like I gotta go to the woods. I gotta go. Went down to the water, and as soon as I got down there, my ears, both of them, lit up. They were ringing, ringing, ringing. I
Oh,
was like,
right.
wow, my god,
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
hardly stand it.
It was intense last night, and like of course I was driving. Like, please just get me home. Please, always happens. Please just get me home.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
I beg of
That
you.
happened to me a couple days ago. I was like, oh my god, not now. I'm gonna die on the road because you're giving me a download.
I know. So there is ways to help with this. I went out and touched a tree yesterday, and I felt it was so cold here, it was snowing again. So I couldn't, of course, put my feet in the grass because of the snow. So went out and touched the pine tree by my place, and I thanked it, of course, for helping me. And tomorrow is supposed to be a lot nicer. It's actually supposed to be like 81 here, so of course, weather
Hmm.
modification. What? So yeah, tomorrow I just want to be outside and in the woods. um, I suggested to the boys of maybe going to, we have Penn State buried here where I went to school. Um, there is a creek with the gorge. And so there's tons of trees and just the water. You can splash around it. Um, it's a magical little place. You can feel the little um, beings that are there. Um, I remember going down when I was in school. It was geoscience, and we went down there, and of course, then I wasn't really awakened to who I was, but I remember not focusing on what he was saying. The shale over here, blah 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 blah. I'm like, yep, totally ignore that. I'm gonna touch this tree, touch the rocks, and just I felt so at home and so just relaxed because with school, there's the psychology classes I would love, but then there's an aspect of it that I felt like I just didn't belong there. And But yeah, it was always nature that always brought me back. I remember there was a time where I was almost anti-nature because it was so strong, um, that I would feel like wibbly wobbly kind of thing when I was out there. And of course, I didn't know back then how to ground or how to be with those energies. You know, they're trying to wake me up way back then, and I was always scared of it, and scared of energy, scared of because when I was little, I would see things, hear things. Um, so I try to always block it away because and then I was told I was crazy. You know, that didn't happen. And no, you don't see faces before you go to bed. You know, that's where, my whole mom's side of the family did. So, I didn't find out about my grandma doing that until I was like way into adulthood. Like, so this whole time, I thought I was nuts. Thanks. But yeah, it was
Did
always. Go ahead.
did you used to walk in your sleep and stuff like that?
No, Brady did though when he was
Okay,
younger.
yeah.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
when I was younger. My mom used to tell me I would sit up and have full conversations. I'd try to walk to the basement to talk to my friends, quote
Oh,
unquote.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would. I would always have just amazing dreams, and then also I would always see the faces. Like before I would go to bed, they were like in pain, and they were always, yeah, in pain or hurt, and like help me, and I didn't know how to help them. And I remember even
Oh
when I
yeah.
was married, they would still be doing that, and I would scream and cry, and he didn't know what to do. And then I would always have very vivid dreams where I would scream or talk, or like I couldn't move, I'd be paralyzed because we know what that is too. But yeah,
Mhm.
these energies, that's why I'm mentioning all of this, is because it's not only good energies that are floating around, but it's the dark ones as well. And they're looking to jump into people. They want to stay here. They know that the frequency is going up, right? And so for them to be here, they have to have a host. And so they're not
Mm.
finding it, of course, within us because we're aware of it. And yeah, we could get hijacked still, but the more that we're aware of it, the less they have, and the more light we become. The more light that we honor that is us, the less they're able to hold on. But there's a lot of people out there that are in a lot of pain, and they're really, really focusing on that. And so it's not just the incoming energies, but it's also the other energies that are trying to stay. And so they're trying to find people, they're trying to find the host, they're trying to find what to latch into. So it is always good to be mindful of what's going on around you. And even like we talked about that false light, where you think you're channeling your grandma, and it could be somebody that is a grandma and will tell you everything that grandma is because they know who grandma is. And but yeah, it's just we just have to be mindful during this time, and really go within and really feel the energy and really allow it to flow through our bodies because it's here to help us to expand, to be the light beings that we truly are. And it's kind of like almost like a burning away of these densities. Um, it's truly amazing what we're going through. And
Yeah.
there's just so much right there. And even today, of day. So I got this notice that Bobby Kennedy Jr. was speaking, and he was announcing his presidency today. And
Oh.
yeah, as a Democrat. And so um, I thought, well, this is going to be kind of cool and interesting because he's a Kennedy. He's a Kennedy. And so he brings that special knowledge to the arena, right? Because there are certain families, and the Kennedys were one of them, that had this special knowledge. that were different from the rest, that actually cared about people. And he, even before he even thought about doing this, I would watch him, and, the whole germ theory versus train theory to Fauci calling everybody out, right? And so that's what he was doing today. It was awesome because I tried to stay away from politics, but I'm like, you know what? This energy is bringing in something. And I think it's supposed to help everybody involved, where there's like, we evolved to no parties, we evolved to um, someone who actually cares about the environment, people, um, the energy of trees. I mean, you name it, he's really kind of tapped into this. And so it was really cool to watch, you know. Well, I
I get
actually,
scared for the Kennedys though. They're always targeted.
well, of course they are because they're connected.
They're always targeted. So it's like, yay, but then I'm like, oh, you
I
know,
know. But see, I
putting a
think
big bullseye on his back.
him coming out though, and really saying something, because he was even saying stuff about Trump, which was like, well, I applaud you for doing what you did, and really starting to put like a light on the swamp. But why would you allow us A to be locked down like you did? You could have just told him to fuck off and go die. Well, he did say that, but I did. Or you, and why did you assign swamp monsters for your cabinet and for your inner beings? But see, then you think, well, maybe he did that in order to shine a light on it. So I think he was able to say things to a different frequency of people, because Trumpy has his diehard Trump people. But then there's the spiritual
Yeah.
people who see it for what it is, for all of it. And then you get the Kennedy side, where he was able to pull in a whole different audience to wake them up, because he was dropping bombs like nobody's business today. And it was the
Mhm.
energy that was flowing through him. Like you could feel it, and it was like, this is divine in a way, because he's bringing light to all these people who would never see this before. It wasn't on, of course, mainstream media. It wasn't on that at all. But it was on, you could see the different people there. And there was even a guy that, that Richard citizen journalist guy, he went right up to him and just started talking. He goes, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm not either party. I'm just here to listen to him, because I think that's where we need to go, is not have a party and just have people saying, well, this is what I want to do, and not have
Mhm.
such big governments and da 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 da." And so it was kind of cool to watch, like, well, this dude is really, he's feeling the energies, because that's what this energy is coming in, is awakening energy. It's also
Mhm.
galactic. It's also, the cosmos are working in orchestration with the eclipses, and all this other stuff is all divinely orchestrated. And for him to come out today and start talking to a whole bunch of new people, and he woke them up. He woke,
Was this on mainstream media
God
or
no.
where did you see this on?
It was on, believe it or not, Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I listened to it on Twitter, and I really don't go on that much, but it was like, it just popped up. I'm like, oh, this is something, because I know the Kennedy name, and I know, even Q speaks about it, that there's special families here that have
Mhm.
this knowledge, and the Kennedys are one of them. And you could tell by the way he talks, it's just, you can feel his heart, which you can't feel a lot of that with anybody else. And he was calling the fake administration out, and it was dropping bombs. But this energy is moving, and you can't stay stagnant in this energy. You have to move. and it's calling us to do stuff. It's calling us to get. That's why impromptu. Yep, I had a feeling that we'd be talking during the week
Yeah, you did.
because it was just like this is gonna warrant it because you can feel it. There's this sweet little light worker. His name is Jason Estes, and he was on, and he was talking about the light points, and I don't really get into that tech the technical stuff. I just feel, and
Right. Me too.
he was talking about the data points and how from here to July is going to be very intense, which is true. It's going to be where the light is shining so brightly that anything within you has to come up to be seen. All the patterns, everything, to even outside of us, has to be shown um, what it was in the belly of the basement. What was going on and why we were not aware of any of it. I mean, some of us were for quite some time, but what do you do about it? What do
Right,
you?
because it's everywhere. It's just such a massive darkness that is in everything, and like corruptness and the children underground and the
Oh,
government and
yes.
everything. It's like you're such a little person. Like even voting doesn't count. So
No, yeah, it
you know what I
doesn't.
mean.
And that's
So
what
I just
people had
show
to
up and
see.
shine my light, and that's about all I can do is
That's all we
shine my
can
light,
do.
and that's it.
That's all
Mhm.
and we could get on here and talk. I mean, if one person hears this, awesome, yay.
Mhm.
Um, even if it's just us talking, there's two or more gathered, and we're shining our light, and we're talking about. We're not afraid to talk about anything, and that's where the magic is we are not afraid to say anything. Where that is why people have been stuck for so long is because they've been afraid. Like I know that I've been told you don't want to rock the boat, Chrissy. You don't want to get out there and say things that might get you banned. You might. Oh no 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 no! Don't talk about that. Just talk about the love and light stuff. Fuck that. No, we need to talk about the real stuff. The real stuff, the everyday stuff. Like, yeah, my feet were on fire yesterday. What do you do about that? And why are we feeling that? Why are we experiencing the dizziness, the feel like you're on a tilt-a-whirl, to stomach aches? What do we do about that? And it's all natural stuff. Like today, I wanted to eat the house again, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
when. And then other times, I don't want to eat anything at all. And then when I do eat the house, then my stomach's like, "What did you just do?" Um, it's like you
Yep.
can't find that happy medium because if you don't eat, then you're nauseous, and then if you do eat, you're nauseous, and it's just what the energy is coming in. I mean, we're getting so many from the earth, from ourselves, from outside of ourselves, to it's just the insanity.
I I was picking up my friend's pain today, and she was at work, and I was like, oh man, like my uterus is hurting. I don't have one. Okay, I know I don't. My
Uh-huh,
back pain, and so then I went down to the woods, and I was getting all dizzy and the ears ringing and everything just by sitting my back on the tree,
uh-huh.
which I felt better. It was not a yeah, it wasn't like a sickening or anything. It felt like it was healing me, but it was just such a strong energy.
Yes.
So I come back up and I give her a call and I'm like, "How was your day?" and stuff. She's like, "I was so sick, I had to come home." And I'm like, "Where's your pain at?"
Uh-huh.
And I haven't been around her for days, and there's no reason. She's clear across town, so I was just like, "Wow, we're so tapped in." I mean, I'm an empath anyways, but usually they got to be in a vicinity of me. You know what I mean? Or I have to purposely think about them to go there. You know what I mean?
Right, we don't have to do that anymore.
No, I'm just like, wow, okay, now I know what this is because I knew it wasn't mine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have one.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
we're realizing our oneness, and we're realizing you are another me. Of course, I'm gonna feel you. Of course, I know what you're feeling. I know what because you are me.
Hmm.
And we're all on our different, like they call it different sine waves, where we go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And there's moments where you're on a bliss moment, and I feel like I got hit by a truck. But then there's other times where we're both on that high, part of the sine wave. So but we're all traveling it at different speeds within ourselves, but always, and then always together on a collective. And it's just where we are in our journey. It's pretty amazing where you'll be in the grocery store and you'll be standing next to somebody, feel so far apart from them because you can feel where they're at. They're in their mind energy, but yet you're like, but that's me too. How can I show me, me? And you just smile or you say hi, and it interrupts their mind energy. But then sometimes you get a smile back or a hi back, or sometimes it's nothing at all. And how to go and see, oh my God, that's me. That's me like 20 years ago. That's me just yesterday. Because there's times where I'm just in my mind all the time. I go, oh my gosh, I'm doing commands 24/7. Yes, you are. Because you feel the other energies trying to keep you there. And so it's constant where you have to be just mindful and conscious of yourself, and allow yourself to feel that at any given moment. Like this morning when I first woke up, I'm like, oh, um, I felt very heavy. I remember what happened was I woke up, I took a drink of water, and then I fell back asleep. But I didn't say to myself, like I usually do my commands before I go back to sleep. And I didn't say to keep my spirit inside of my body as I sleep because I was so
Mm.
waxed. So then I had some weird whacked out dream. You're in it, but we're all guys. Michelle was in it, and Brenda was in it. Everybody was in it. So I don't want to tell too much because we'll be forming a timeline. But we were the rebels in this timeline, and we were all like stuck together inside a place that we couldn't get out. But oh my damn it, we were gonna find a way out. But we were making it pretty and livable until we could get out. And we're plotting, and we're using energy to do so. It's really kind of cool, but I don't want to talk about too much because I don't know form that timeline. But for you
Um,
too,
you went back to sleep this morning. So did I.
yeah.
I didn't want to get up, and I went back to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah. And I
Yep.
have a hardest time staying in my body. So I'll just tell you right now. So
Yeah.
whenever I wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning, it's very heavy because you just came back into it. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, gravity.
Right.
And
Right. And
so
so that's
I'm
what we
sure that's
have.
what you.
We have to be mindful though to stay in our bodies because that's where we get hijacked as well. When we're in that astral plane, we're jumping around in different dimensions and stuff like that, and different ways of being, and that's where we get hijacked. So we have to be mindful of that too, because that's
I
where
try, but my soul likes to wander at night every time. I'm like,
well,
just stay here. I'm
that's
like,
why
we're
you got to
gonna
command it,
recoup.
and that's what,
Okay.
and I just say I now command my spirit through source energy to keep my spirit in my body tonight as I sleep. And I can either count down. I usually do it with a whole bunch of other commands, like bringing my whole self back to me. Um, you know, I now command my
Mm.
spirit, through source energy to bring all aspects of me back to me now. I mean, something very simplistic as that, and your soul and your spirit's like, all right, let's do this. So they, you feel all the different aspects of you come back to you that oh, this thought today, boom, off goes parts of my body. I mean, my spirit, zip, 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 zip. So you got all these parts of you, all these different timelines with your thoughts. And so you call it back every night or even during the day when they're really trying to get at you. Because this is like go time for them. They're like, well, we're going to bring out all the stops because the gig is up and there's more people awakening. And so these intense energies are coming up and they're bringing up some really dark shit that's within you that you need to look at and heal and love back to you instead of excommunicating them yet again so they go off into the ethers, into the astral plane, and then you meet your dark self up there like, what the fuck is that? No, well, that is me. It's all you. Even the dark beings, there's an aspect that you thought you were that. And so they're just here to wake us up too. When you see that everything is here
Hmm.
to help us, you're like, well, I'm not afraid of the dark because it's me. Do I want to go out and, kill little babies and drink their blood? No. But there's aspects of divine source that have chosen to do that. And they're me just as much as I am them. You're like, fuck. But that was a choice you made. I didn't drink baby's blood. It's a choice we made. Like, no, we're not going to participate in that. That's ridiculous. But other parts of us did. Because if you see that, oh my God, they're there choosing this behavior because they want power and greed and control. Because, God, imagine what they felt like. How much they were co-opted. That these dark beings just had a field day with them. They had to feel so awful that they would do these things for control. Because you even look at it as abuse, like when you're being abused. Like, why the fuck why would that happen? Oh, and then you look at it and you really dissect it. You're like, I can understand. I can understand. You needed control. You needed to control a part of your life that you never felt control of because you were emotionally or sexually or whatever the case abused when you were a child. So this is a way to gain control over somebody. And so you see it as that. And I think that's why we went through that in all different variations, is so that we would understand the dark. Because as a light being, we don't understand the dark. But when we'd be
Hmm.
dipped in the darkness because it happened to us, we could go, whoa, another me did that to me. Because there's an aspect of me that needed to be loved and understood. And yeah, it was brutal. It was awful. Did I participate in that? Yeah, I did. Did I allow that shit to happen? Yes, I did. Because I was scared. I didn't see a way out. I didn't feel strong within myself. And that was the part that needed to heal. The the inner Chris that said, no, fuck you. I am not putting up with this any longer. And you
I
do.
think also we have a tendency to see, since we're light beings, we see the light in everybody.
Oh,
Well, that's
yes.
wonderful, but you got to realize after you get hurt and stuff that there's the other too.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Everybody has the light and dark in them. So
Yes.
because
Yes.
before that, I couldn't fathom why people didn't see things the way that I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
It,
got taught.
oh, yeah. And that's what we did. We had to say, well, this is darkness because we were here to help transmute that darkness. We're here to help bring other people through that darkness. Because when you look at yourself, you're like, whoa, I didn't do some very nice things. I was I was a bitch. I couldn't, I reacted. I was manipulative, but that's how I learned how to be. And it was kind of a defense mechanism, but also survival. And imagine that going on for eons. All of us have been manipulated, abused on different layers, on different ways. I mean, the whole, society's one big codependent clusterfuck. I mean, it really has hurt us on so many different levels. The control, the manipulation. I mean, you look at it, it's in every thread of society. And so that's what this light is doing, is going, you can't hide anymore. Not only society, but you. Like, okay, what's coming up for me to look at? Oh, sometimes I don't like looking at that stuff. And so I push, kick the can down the street some. Well, here it is, looking at you in the face, going, what about this? What about this? Well, Chris, hey, Bob, what about this? Ooh, that's a really icky, because it is. It's also trying to keep you trapped here too. Like, ooh, yeah, I don't like being pulled over by that cop, but stick to the man kind of thing. Like, I know that I have to pay it, but I also know common law. But I also know it's trying to keep me stuck. But I also know that um, it's just it's something I need to face. It's something so stupid, and even like the bills that sitting here looking at me like you need to pay us because we charge you for free energy, and so there's free energy, which really chaps your hide. You know that they're raping you over the coals. You know that there's a trust out there that they're being paid anyway. But then your hands are tied on how the hell do I do that then? Q always
Yeah, but
talked about,
are your bills keeping you marred down? Or are they like distracting you? Like that cop was trying to distract you?
oh yeah, they're all
You know
doing
what I
that.
mean?
And so that's why I
Yeah, so you
keep
kind of just
commanding
need to let
myself
it go.
away. Yeah, and that's why
Okay.
I'm like, okay. And like Q said, you call them up and say, hey, I'm not going to pay this pull fully. No, I can't because you are raping everybody right now because you can't. And I'm not going to do it, basically. And you just go in there speaking from your heart and say, I'm not paying the gazillion dollars that you want me to pay because I don't, you know, that's impossible. It's impossible. It's not right. But you go in there with an open heart and you talk about it and you talk heart to heart to people. And most people will go, oh yeah, I get it. And then you sprinkle a little bit of you and you just talk to people about, hey, you know what? Won't it be cool by the end of this year to think about not having to worry about any of this? And then you just dropped a seed to a complete stranger. That's why I choose to call them and pay it online because then I talk to somebody and I drop seeds.
Hmm.
And one time, last month, I talked to somebody and she was telling me about her car accident. And she was telling me about she's trying to find a new place to live and all this. I mean, we had a beautiful conversation over the electric bill. We barely talked about the electric bill. And it was because I decided I'm going to go meet her heart to heart. And I'm going to have a heart centered person that I'm going to be talking to instead and pay my bill, but also drop some seeds while I'm at it. And that's what I've been doing, like on Telegram. And I've been doing on other places. Um, just being nice because there's so many people out there hurting. So
I
many
kind of
people.
did that today. I went to my favorite store. I'm laughing. It's
Da
not, but
da da.
the W store. And as soon as I pull in, I notice a purse in a cart in the
Oh,
cart rack. So
shoot.
I look around. There's nobody around. I walk over. I pick it up. I'm walking in with it, and the guy beside me said, "Yep, look, I just found this. I'm sure they're gonna be missing it soon." He's like, "Yeah, not too many people would do that." Like he goes,
Yeah,
"I would do the same thing," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need no bad karma and stuff. We just have this little chat on the way through." I walk right up to the main counter. I'm like, "Here you go. I didn't look in it, but I know what to do." And they're like, "Thank you." And so I was kind of just dropping my little seeds as I did my good deed for the day.
yeah. And that's what it's about. It's just being nice to people. And oh, it really chapped my hide yesterday. So I had my duckies returned, my sweet little duck, mom and dad duck. They were here last year, and they would eat my seed that I put out for the birds. And so I saw them. They were actually underneath the bird feeder, and they're just eating that up and stuff like that. And then the kids next door came home, and they were chasing them. And of course, that really chopped my hide last year because I'm like, you scared them away for good. And then they actually returned. I was surprised. I really was. And so there they go, chasing it. And I just opened up the window. And like Ben said, I, I've rarely heard this voice in you, Mom. But it was like came from your deep from inside you. It just came out. It just said, hey, where they totally just froze. He goes, I froze. He goes, yes, not at me. And that was the collie part of me coming out to defend these poor creatures who are just there. They come flying in from the lake and then they come up here because they know that I have seed. And I think they also have a nest up here somewhere away from the lake sun. Um, but yeah, I was like, those beautiful animals cannot defend themselves. And it just came right, it was just like this roar that came out to defend my ducks. These are my duckies. Nobody hurts my duckies, And it was like I'm like that with the chipmunks and the squirrels, um, with the other little birds, with kids, and I. But it was like looking at these children, right, and seeing what I saw when I worked with kids, and then non the the they didn't have any empathy, compassion. Um, it was kind of like yeah, they have it's ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, and I see the same look in their faces that my clients had, and I know the possessions that they have because you can see that too, and that's why they've been in abusive relationships, they've seen it, and so then in order to protect themselves, but I know also this energy is going to stir the hell out of these demons and people are going to start really acting out in and not being very kind.
Yeah,
So
that's what I seen the other day. I was talking about. Remember,
yeah, at
these
the yeah,
people screaming so loud, like blocks away. I could hear this guy on the phone, another guy in the traffic trying to cross, and he was just like cussing at the people trying to stop
uh,
for him, and it was insanity.
yeah,
And it's usually quiet in my town. I'm like, what's going on?
yeah. There's gonna be more of that, and you can see it because she just started yelling and screaming back at me, because it's oppositional defiance. So they're gonna do anything they can to go totally opposite of what you're saying. Um, and it does concern me going forward of there's so many people that have been abused and um, who have chosen this way to cope and to allow the darkness to set in because there's
Hmm.
a lot and it that's even when I think about what Jason put today it was like that too as maybe there's something else it was kind of like we're all these empaths the ones connected to their hearts sometimes so much that we just feel everybody but then you got the subhumans which are half human and half empathetic and then you have the ones that are totally dead because they've been totally compromised and they've been totally
Hmm.
corrupted and taken over and they're just mind right and they're just survival in their mind and they just go from survival mode to survival mode to survival mode and it's like they're not connected with their heart. And I see so much of that with the general with population. And we're here to kind of, it's not this energy is not only waking us up, even we're opening our hearts open with crowbars. That's what I feel sometimes. Like, okay, I thought I had my
Hmm.
heart open. No, you need it more. Okay. Um, but yeah, it's like we just have to be the role models of true unconditional love, no matter what they've done, no matter what, because there's a lot of people, oh, we gotta hang them, we gotta kill them, we gotta, firing squad and blah, 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 blah. Um, could you imagine, though, being so abused that you let so much in that it's not even you? Because I remember seeing that with
Hmm.
family members
Hmm.
where it wasn't even him anymore. It
Hmm.
was just
They
darkness.
stepped aside and there's like an empty dark soul in there, then like
Yeah, yeah. And
there's no
so,
light behind the eyes.
right, it's like a total dead. And so we
Hmm.
are the light to breathe light back into people. Not to the codependent part where we, oh, we got to fix you. No, it's more, this is who we are. And well, how can you still love us? I mean, I've had that question. How can you forgive me? How do you love me still after all that? I'm like, because I knew I had to forgive you and me, and I still love you. But how can you do that? It's just who I am.
Well, if you don't forgive someone, it's like drinking like me trying to drink poison to hurt you,
Yeah,
holding onto a grudge. For example, my sister is still a little, I don't know if she is, but for years she was upset with me. I didn't know until my dad told me. Like years later, I'm like, it's not hurting me. I didn't know.
yeah,
So she was just hurting herself.
yeah,
And that's the
yeah.
same. That's why you need to forgive. So you're not going to hurt them. They don't know that maybe they don't even care.
No, and there's people who won't ever care, and that's okay too because that's part of what they chose to be here. Like the ones that we are seeing, that they really did the bad things. They just don't give a
Hmm.
shit because they've chosen through sometimes stuff outside of them, but you all have the power to decide, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna change my ways. I'm going to allow the light in me to be there compared to the darkness that can really rule my world. I mean, I remember I was a bulldozer when I first got out of my marriage. Um, I was so desperate for love and so desperate to be seen and heard that I just, you do things that you never thought you would do. Um, Especially in the marriage too. I never thought I would be, you know, putting up with shit or even, um, numbing yourself to survive. And that's what people had to learn how to do. I couldn't be in that world because it wasn't me. I remember taking, they were trying to give me meds and not feeling myself. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't be on these meds to numb us. And that's what they got half the people on out there. Most of the people out there on these
Hmm.
drugs that numb you. And that's also allowing every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come into you. And this light that's coming in now, um, we'll be able to see it. Like especially for us,
Hmm.
we'll know um, if there's a judgment kind of spirit hanging out or not, or if there's um, it's a judgment. That was always my big thing. It was always very. I learned how to be judgy. Even with the kids next door, I have to watch myself because I know the abuse that has gone on. I know of the conditions or the mental health issues are really stemming from possessions. Um, and
It is hard not to judge because me and you can see like the underlying issues. Like I can see someone and pretty much sum up a lot about them in 2 seconds.
yeah,
And so it's very hard to Because I used to put on blinders and be like, okay, I see only good in this person, and now I'm almost like the opposite, like I see everything. So it's like I put a little judgment on there, and I need to kind of not sometimes. It's a fine line
It is,
because
and you can see it.
you
You can
know.
see the whole picture, right? You're like, okay, I see the whole picture. Thank you. And then what? How do I respond to this? Whether then how to react, because even the people that I get, all these people on Telegram, they're what's up, and so they come down, and you already know, like, okay, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop to see what angle or what bullshit story you're gonna come up with, or what business deal you want me to go in on. So I'm just like, it's kind of almost like a game. Like, all right, I'm gonna see. I just want to see what bullshit you come up with, right? And
Oh
then
God,
there's
it's
other
like the
times,
dating app.
yeah.
Dating apps, you
Oh,
know
I've
what's
never
going to
been on
happen.
that.
Just
I've
go
never
ahead
been
and
on
say
those.
it, or just get to the
I
punchline.
can,
Like,
I cannot
oh
go on
my God,
those. I'm like, nope,
I won't anymore
I
because
can't do
it
it.
was
It,
it
it,
was ridiculous. Then
one
I
would
just
think.
started being mean because I know, like, I'm just gonna get to the punchline because I know this is what you're gonna do and this is what I'm gonna do, and let's just get it over with.
Yeah, I just, but it is, that's kind of like what it is now on Telegram, almost too. I'm like, but it's like where you're, okay, and then it's like they have in front of them a set of questions that they all ask. I'm like, are you guys pulling from like a list or something? And they're like, what? I go, I had somebody else just ask these questions, the same exact questions, and the same response that your dad is your hero. What the fuck is this? And I'm calling them out. It's kind of like, no, what the hell are you doing? I go, do you guys have like a script or something? To try to hose girls or guys, or for that matter, and then you can tell the real ones, too, because it's not scripted. Um, it's just funny because that's what I'm like. Well, if you guys, you know, you're in some of my groups that I'm in, and you're reaching out for just something, like a conversation, like, oh my God, somebody, because my whole family is asleep right now, they're under the hypnosis, so I gotta talk to somebody, and I find a lot of that on there. Um, but then there's a lot of people who are out there to manipulate and to just be, who the light is showing me who they are. Um,
Mhm.
so then I'm trying not to judge, but yet I'm also trying not to be Miss Softy and say, "Oh, that's okay for being for knowing
Mhm.
who you are, who you're choosing to be, not necessarily who you are." Like even the kids next door, I know deep down inside everybody's got a light somewhere, right? It's just in varying degrees of what they choose to do, and they even choose how to behave towards people and such like that. They're not, even children know what's between right and wrong, and they're just choosing to hurt other beings because they get off on it, right? And
Mhm.
not to necessarily judge them, but also not to allow it to occur within your presence. So I guess that's kind of like almost the fine line you were talking about. It's like, I will not judge you, condemn you for doing what you just did, but I'm also not going to allow it to go on in my presence. Just like you would never watch somebody abuse a child in front of you. Like, no, I'm a mom, first of all. And second of all, I'm a human being, or that's a child. What the hell are you doing? Or that's an animal. What the hell are
Mhm.
you doing? Um, where you don't, like, okay, I understand why they're doing the things they do, and you have to be feeling pretty shitty in order to hurt a kid, in order to hurt an animal. You have to be at your lowest moments in order to do that and to be one hurt individual. But to allow that to occur in my presence of being the light, I'm going to shine a light on that. And that's where why we're in the trouble we're in is everybody just looked the other way. Like, oh yeah, I know that school teacher's a creeper. Oh, well, we're just gonna let him keep teaching though. But we're just all gonna turn this way and pretend it didn't happen because it's too scary to look at. I mean, I remember people talking about the superintendent, the old superintendent from our school district. It was a little creepy. I'm like, were you guys doing anything? Because I took Ben was already out of school by then. I go, well, did you guys do anything about it? Well, no. I said, well, why not? You guys are, I mean, your kid, why are you allowing your kid to be in that? It just totally baffled me. And I go, well, you guys have to say something and do something. Well, what are we going to do? Well, just speak up. Well, he's the superintendent. Well, I don't care if it's Jesus. You still need to say something. And that totally blew my mind. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I can't keep my mouth shut. I mean, I caused so much trouble at my last job because they kept calling me in the back and verbally harassing me and then telling me not to talk about these sessions that we're having in the back room. Well, I would go right back out and I would talk about the session we're having in the back room. They didn't like it. But you
No,
can't shut me up.
no,
I'm
no. And
sorry.
that's,
It's my legal right to run my mouth.
we're here to totally shine a light on stuff and not to be quiet about it because that's why we're in this mess is because everybody turned away from it. Oh, it's too scary to look at it. Oh, I can't look at that. That's bad stuff. And I remember even working with my clients, you know, stuff was happening and the kid was telling me, nothing was happening. And so he came to me and told me, I'm like, nope, let's go. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, no, we're going to take a date. We went to court. I testified. It was scary as shit. And I had to sit there and look at that cretin. And I had to look at the judge who put him right back into that house. And that's when I said,
Mm.
I I can't do this anymore. You're supposed to be somebody who is protecting these children and you're sending them right back into the belly of the beast. What the frick? I lost it. I did. After that, I was not the same. And I couldn't be there much longer. I couldn't because it was just like, I cannot continue this when it's like this. And it drove me nuts because there's nothing. That's how I knew everything was corrupt. So like I saw it
Mm-hmm.
from the inside, and that's what this energy is doing. Is shining this huge light on that. Like you can't fucking hide anymore. You can't hide from yourself. You can't hide from society. The society can't hide any longer. The nefarious dark beings that are puppeteering this whole thing can't hide anymore because we are shining so brightly that they can't hold on to us and they won't be able to hold on to them either because they're fighting in the light. They're starting to wake up. Everybody's
And I
starting
think
to,
that's why people are popping off too,
yeah, because I
because
remember
it's
popping
getting
off.
too much.
I did. I remember popping off. I'm like, this is too much. There's corrupted, just corrupt every freaking where. In every facet, I can't go. Work is corrupt, home is corrupt. Everything is freaking corrupt. And like, something has to change, and it has to be me, because that's the only thing I know how to do is change me. And to look inside me and look at that, I'm like, ooh, that was ugly. But I understand why it was ugly. It's because I was wounded and I was taught how to behave like that, how to be codependent. And that was a learned behavior. But I also
Mm-hmm.
chose it because I didn't know any better. And so half the things that these people do, they don't know. And that's why you can't judge them because we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I have to keep really watching myself with is the judgment. And I know that's one of my biggest things. And I think that's, it was myself, was judgment of self, big time. Yes. Judgment of others, yes, because I judged myself, so of course I'm going to judge others. A dur. And so I had to step back. I'm like, all right, Chris, you got to be gentle with yourself. So that's why we're on
Mm-hmm.
tonight. Like, okay, you guys got to be gentle. This is intense. This is no cakewalk. This is no puppies and unicorn shit. No, this is hardcore dark night of the soul, rip your shit apart kind of life. And you have to rip it apart in order to heal it.
Thank
And
God
it,
I did all that shit for the last year and a half because
and we're
well,
still
I've been
doing it.
doing it for 4 years or
We're
more, but this
still
last year and a half was crazy.
we're still doing it. And that's the thing is like, guys, we're still doing it too. We're just
Hmm.
we just chose to look at our shit a little earlier than you. And we're still looking
It's
at our crap.
stuff still comes up, but some of the major stuff, like I took care of some really major stuff this last year.
So
So
did I, but it
thank
came back
goodness.
up in a different form and in a different
Yeah, it
onion
does.
layer. And so I'm like, I thought I healed that. Oh, silly little Chrissy. You did on one frequency, but here's the next frequency to look at it on. Fuck.
Hmm.
Shit. Are you serious? Yep. Here it is. Bleh. But it's in a different frequency, so you can see it faster. And you can say, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. But it's still
I
there.
recognize it. Hmm.
Yeah. And you're like,
And it's
oh,
not as gut wrenching of a ordeal as like
right.
some of the major.
Right.
Like when it
Because
comes up
you ripped it
again,
open.
it's a smaller layer, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I know
Yeah.
what that is. I know
Yeah.
what
It's
that.
the inner layers where it's smaller, but it's like, oh, 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 here's the juicy part of it because you know where it came from. And you're like, wow, this is ancestral stuff too. It's like, dang, this is all my mom, my mother, um, grandmothers, all that stuff that they carried. It was DNA stuff. Like, what? Yes, you're healing everything because we're supposed to be. And my ears are on fire right now and they're just so loud. But it is, we're healing not only our crap, but it's their crap too, because their crap is our crap. But then we have our own crap. So it's just like crap upon a crap upon a crap. And
A
we
lot of
just,
crap.
it is a lot of crap. And not to be scared of it anymore. Like, all right, bring it in. All right, I'm ready. Okay. Yeah, I did recover from the last crap, but okay, bring it in. And this you do. You just have to go, oh, sweet Jesus.
You go, I'm feeling better. I'm ready for the next round. You go, shit, what asked for that?
I
I'm not
know.
ready.
I
I
know.
didn't. I really wasn't ready. I'm sorry. Take
And
it
you're
back.
not even ready for it. And then it comes in, and you're still like, I didn't ask for this. No, but here
Damn
you
it.
are. Here it is, blah. You're, dang it. So then I start, okay, then I gotta start looking towards stuff that brings me joy because that helps to neutralize a lot of the stuff, the old stuff. You know, the cooking, the baking, the gardening, the playing with my animals and feeding them and fighting. So I said to Brady today, I said, Brady, this is what we need to do. We need to get like a bowl just for the ducks, right? And then I have an outside speaker that has spa music running so that the ducks can be there in the spa music. And he just looked at me like, Mom. I said,
I
isn't
love you.
wouldn't that be great?
I love you.
I go, me too. Yes. So he just looked at me like, but yeah, it's just those tiny little things bring me so much joy. Like I was so elated to see the ducks. I was so elated to watch my squirrel balance on part of the bird feeder, like the feet, and then he's grabbing on to the other bird feeder and shoveling it in his mouth. I just sat there for a half hour and watched him. It was the biggest joy of just watching him. And then there's other times where I'll just watch, um, the birds, or I'll just even watch the kids sleeping, right? Or it's just like, oh my God, look at this beautiful being right here. I get to experience this, whether it be my kids or a duck. It's all beautiful, and for us to go to the woods and be able to experience the power of that tree. I mean, it blows your mind what you can experience. Not only just, the stuff that comes up that you're supposed to look at, but oh my gosh, what is really out there for us to do, to see, to witness, and to experience. Even the bad, even the stuff that we deem yucky, icky, ew, we still get to feel it, where a lot of people don't feel it. How amazing is that? And these energies coming in make it stronger and stronger for us to feel it.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if I'm ever gonna fit into normal society because
No,
I'm just so
we're
out
never
there
going
sometimes.
back. It's changing. It's
That's what I'm like.
changing. You can feel
I'm
it.
definitely gonna have to find a man if I ever do find one. That's gonna have to be in a spiritual because they're gonna think I'm batshit crazy.
Oh yeah, and that's what I love doing, especially on Telegram. And they're just like, "What?" I'm like, so you put that towards them. Do you feel energy?
What is
Hello?
Telegram? Is that like Instagram?
It's kind of is, but it's like more of a truther. Like more people are awake on there, which I see sometimes. My friends that from high school or something are on here, or like my in-laws, and I just laugh because I'm like, "Do you even know what Telegram is about? It's about looking at your fucking shadow. It is looking at all the dark shit that's out there, all the truth stuff, but also all the spiritual stuff, and
I
all
have to
the.
check that out.
There's so. I'll have to send you an invite. So much
Yeah,
on
because
there.
Instagram is just so much garbage. They want to,
It's
and I get
spoofy
all these
shit.
people trying to friend me like with their
Oh
boob
yes.
pics or a
Yeah.
guy that's overseas, and they follow me, and I
Right.
remove them all the time.
Oh, I
I'm
know,
like, I don't
right?
want nothing.
I don't want to see boobies.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And nor do I want to see an ugly dick. Come on. They're ugly. Knock it off.
But
And it
you know when
is.
these women are leaning over with their cleavage hanging
Oh.
out and they don't have any pics but themselves, and there's like five of them, that they're just
It's so
stalking people's pages or they're
silly.
bots or something.
Oh, I know
Uh,
it's just crazy, and even on Telegram, there's stuff like that too. There, it's everywhere. It's infiltrated everywhere.
and I
But
went into Unified thinking it would be good, and I
oh
was like,
my
ah, this
God,
is not for
no!
guys. So I
Oh
don't even go
my
on there because it's
word!
nothing but guys wanting to follow
Yes,
me.
yes,
I
and they're
put
like,
up a
hey,
post. This is not a dating app, and I
I me
still get them.
too, me too, and it's just like, hey, baby, and I think it always goes, hey,
I'm
baby.
about
Welcome to
ready
the
to delete it.
Thunderdome.
It is. It's crazy. It's just like, will you
I'm
just
about ready to
stop?
delete the app because I can't even get nothing but these guys
No,
saying hello,
I
hello, and I'm
know.
like, dude,
I'm like, why are you here? I always go, so what brought you to Unified? I go, do you follow Jason? Who's Jason? I'm like, there you go, click. It's just like you don't even know why you're here. You're not here for that. You're here for booty. And no thank you.
right.
See you later.
I'm about
It,
ready to totally because I hardly ever get on there. I'm about ready to just take it off my phone because it's worthless at this
it's
point.
just so funny.
It,
It's so funny
it
at
was a
this.
great idea, but it's
It was.
worthless. I'm sorry.
It really it took a dive, and
And
that's
I love
the
Jason,
dark.
but the Unified,
It's a dark
yeah, it got
infiltrating. It dark
it did. It
infiltrates
totally
everything.
infiltrated it.
And so with
Yep.
Telegram, I mean, we did this, we have this beautiful society on there, and the dark totally infiltrated it. And now they're clamping down on it, but it's already been compromised. And so they got to go through with a fine tooth comb to.
This is why we can't have nice things.
That's right. Exactly. My ex used to say that all the time. Boys, it's why we can't have nice things. Anytime they would do something, or like, this is why we can't have nice things, Chris. See, we have these two. So yes, I know, I know, I
No,
know.
it's the dark.
Yes, and it is. It's the dark has infiltrated every aspect of everyone's lives, from social media to society to your own brain. I mean, we're walking antennas to receive all this shit because you hear it. It's just one big broadcast of dark, and is it whether you hook onto it or not? And it is. It's just a
I
choice.
got a
It's
random weird question for you.
sure.
And this has been going on for a couple weeks. I hear a hmm,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't usually hear a lot. Sometimes I get ringing in my ears when the energy's high, or if there's spirits or whatever around, souls around.
Uh-huh.
I will hear that sometimes too. But for a couple weeks now, I'll just be sitting in my apartment. I hear, and I'm like, what the heck is that?
Did you ask?
I'm like, what?
Did you?
I
What
don't
did it?
know.
Did the energy say?
I didn't. No, I don't know what it is. It's driving me nuts.
Because all I see is somebody just sitting there, like behind you. Like,
Just watching TV with me, right?
yeah, yeah.
I thought so, but what the randomness? Sorry, I
It
had to get a
is.
second
It is
opinion.
random, because you just like,
I had to get a second opinion.
okay.
Like, who's hanging out with me? Going, judging
Yes,
me.
yes, exactly. And see, listen. I know I judge myself
Damn,
and others. You don't need to do it. But
that's what
there's
I
a
was thinking. What
And
the?
but see,
Ah,
there's the judgy spirit, right? And so that's where oh,
well,
it's
he's been
judging
hanging with
me.
me.
Yeah, it's judging me, but see, I'm judging. So that's why it's hanging out with me. It's because I'm judging.
I haven't
Cause
told anybody else this. It just came. I was just like, this is so weird, but I gotta ask.
yeah,
I haven't
because
said it to
see,
anybody else.
that's something
They
we
would
have to
think I was
look at.
nuts. Like, what's a
Oh, hell no. So that's what you got to look at. It's like, oh, yeah, see. And you just said that you had to work on your judging. We all do. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's here. It's like, okay, hmm, you know,
Interesting.
yeah, because see, that's what we have to look at.
Quit judging me, damn it.
And
I
it
want to
says,
watch
well, you
TV. I
quit
want to.
judging and I'll stop judging. Ooh, boom. There it is, a beer, bam, bam. Fudge.
Funny.
It is, but it's so real. And nobody, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, whatever. No, it's freaking real.
Well, I didn't
This,
bring it up because it doesn't creep me out or anything. It was just very
no, it's just
interesting. I was like,
energy.
what is that?
It's
What
the
the heck?
energy of judgment. And so now you're hearing it so audibly because of the light, and all your senses are coming online. So of course you're gonna hear it because you're supposed to. And you're like, oh, so you're judging me because I judged something today and I brought in a judge spirit. All right, awesome. And you're like,
Well,
okay.
he's been a hanger with me lately, let me tell you.
Well, I want you to look at something then in your life
Obviously.
that is a judgy thing. Because I know that I have to work. Oh my gosh, I'm always at myself, especially with the kids next door. Banging is it's so loud, and it's like 4 in the morning, sometimes 3 in the morning. Like, aren't you supposed to be in bed? I'm like, judgy, it's just judgy, judgy, judgy. And I'm sitting
Now
there,
listen, maybe you'll start hearing the
yeah, maybe too, because it's just like, but
listen
it's
for it.
I listen to myself talk to myself about next door. So like, oh yeah. Sometimes I can be loud too, or yeah, my kids are loud too. Yep, there's six of them, 6 kids, and then 2 adults, so 8 of them over there. They're 2 apartment, no, three,
Wow.
3 bedroom apartment. I don't know where they put. But see, there's the judging again. Like, okay, Chris, stop it. And so it's constant, and I know I have to keep checking myself, and I have to go, okay, command time, because I know that is my one of my biggest things is judging or putting like I don't want to look at it because I see it as dark and evil and I don't want to look at it, so I'm just going to push it away. Um, or I know like bills. I just like I don't want to pay you because I know, and it's just like I don't want to pay you.
A really big money hang up too, where I was like,
Yes,
I gotta save money to pay off my car payments so I could be free and have extra time where I could go do the things I want to do. Da 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 da.
and
The
then you
harder
forget
I
to
clamp
lose.
down, the less the money flows.
Yes, and that's what I'm just like. Oh, love of Pete.
So you just need to like. I went out and treated myself this last week and bought myself a
So
nice little moonstone ring. Got my hair cut,
yeah,
and like
and
the money's flowing.
yeah, you
It's
got to
wonderful.
do that. And it is. It's just like, I know, right? There's like right on the other side of this frequency band is something so abundant I can't even put to words. And I know it's right there. And I know society is heading that way too. It is right there. I can feel it. It's like right on the other side of my hand. It's right there. And I know that this judgment and this whole, I don't want to look at this thing. Um, yeah, that's those are my frequency hang-ups, and I keep having to love it so much that it is. It's just screaming at me, and I'm like, I know, I know, and well, just keep loving yourself. But it's just you just gotta keep loving yourself through it and respecting yourself and being gentle with yourself with these energies to drink salt water to help with the electric coming in, to hold onto a tree, touch the ground, touch a plant, touch an animal who goes out there and soaks in the sun because they're giving off negative ions and it helps you. That's why everybody loves to cuddle up with an animal because they're just one big ball of unconditional love. Babies, same thing. Just they're so close to source. They don't have any judgments. Trees don't have any judgments. That's why we get so alive when we are around it or we're bathing ourselves in the woods is because there's no judgment.
Yeah, I had my back to the tree.
Oh,
The wind
yeah,
was blowing through my hair and the sun was on my face and I was just like, "Yes." I have to make myself
magic.
shut down my mind to sit there and enjoy it
Yeah,
is wonderful.
yeah, and to allow ourselves to enjoy it, just like I allow myself to watch my ducks, or to look at my
Mhm.
babies, or to go into the woods and feel a tree, feel the breeze on my face, just all that simple stuff that means the world.
Mhm.
But it is late, and I guess I should probably let you go. It's 9:30. Um, Thank you for popping on tonight. I just felt like
Yeah.
we probably need to do it because the solar eclipse is tonight, so oh, it's gonna get it's
It
gonna
was
get
funny. I was
interesting.
going to join this other thing and it was like, but he does this out body stuff and I was like,
Yeah,
I don't want to do any of that today. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And
yep,
then you asked me, I'm like, yeah, we're good.
awesome sauce. Well, thank you again, my dear, for joining me and for having this heart to heart talk. It,
Oh, I love them.
I love them too because it just airs out. You just feel so much better. You're just getting it all out there and just being real,
Mhm.
authentically real and just raw and just whatever comes out comes out. So thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful night.
You too, my dear. Alrighty. Bye bye.